Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm your coach and host, David Onpine. Hopping right there is Izzy Rivera. Then my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Welcome to the show, my friends. And on today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be talking about contenders versus pretenders. We're also going to talk about the Chicago Bulls, and we're going to get into a little bit of GOAT talk here on the Prime. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. As we bring content for you guys almost every single day, including yesterday, we had the college football show. Please don't miss that content. Like, share, and subscribe. Happy Saturday, gentlemen. How is everyone feeling?
Feeling good.
I'm on my second coffee. I've been to the gym 3 times in 24 hours.
Oh man,
I got 2 times in 24 hours. So
I got no times in 24 hours. And I bet I'm still putting up more weight than both of y'all. What's up?
Man, I don't lift no weight at the gym.
Hey, I'm being respectful, baby. I bet I go to the gym and I'm putting up 315, baby, 325.
I need video. It don't count.
Oh, you need video? TJ. TJ, come on now, bro. Nah, bro. I'm gonna show you some video when I was on 365.
Speaking of contenders versus pretenders, let's talk about them. We got a lot of combined surprise teams here in the MV. Yeah, this again. Let's go. So we're going to talk about contenders versus pretenders. So we got 3 people on the panel. I want you to pick a team. I want you to tell me if you think they are a contender or a pretender, and I want you to justify it, and then me and TJ get a chance to rebuttal. If we want to. Let's start with Izzy. You go first. Who you got on the contender versus pretender? Who do you got?
Who's a pretender? The Orlando Magic. They're a pretender. They're a nice team right now. Very young. They're 3rd in the Eastern Conference right now, but they are definitely not a contender because they're just too young. They've never been there. They haven't been there. They are one of the better defensive teams in the league, surprisingly. Jalen Suggs is gotta be up for some sort of DPOY. He's like up there, like top 3 in steals. I think he might be leading the league in steals right now at this point because Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday have been banged up of late. And I know how hard it is for a guard to win DPOY. It usually goes
to
a guy that
4th in the NBA in steals right now, 1.9
steals.
Yeah,
he's a menace. He's one of the best on-ball defenders. Franz Wagner put up 30 the other night, just yesterday, I believe. Paulo Banchero is awesome. Cole Anthony off the bench.
They are in the top 5 when it comes to defensive rating, 108.9 points per game.
But it's David, TJ. They just when it comes to playoff time, it's just you're gonna go against teams. You might win the first round matchup, possibly, but if you catch like the Miami Heat, no, it depends on who it is. It's like if you're the 6th seed and you catch like the Cavs or you catch Miami, you might lose that series. You ain't winning that series.
No, win that series. Man,
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I look at playoff experience and I value it.
No.
I think because we're doing this black and white thing, like we're doing just straight, you're either a contender or a pretender, nothing in between. Magic are closer. The Magic are closer to being like in between. Like I feel like they could be a contender. They got some talent on the team, but they
could be a contender in a couple years. In a year. I'll give it a year.
In that scenario, they could be Cleveland, but I think their inexperience would definitely show against a team like Miami.
I think they can beat Miami.
I think they can lose out there. Honestly, go ahead, guys, because you got. I don't want to steal. I've been watching too much basketball this season. So
TJ, you're up next. Pick a team.
Magic. Pick a team. I'm gonna go to the West. Because Izzy went East. I'm gonna go to the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets are also pretenders. Love what they're doing. I love that Ime Udoka is coaching the way that he is because again, the man got ousted in Boston for something that we should have had no business knowing. Right? I don't like how they did that. I said in the group chat, I hope however long he plays or coaches for the Rockets, wherever he goes, whenever he plays Boston, I hope his team win by 50. That's just me. That's just me being real. Same thing in Orlando. They got loads of young talent there. All right, they got Jalen Green, Shagun, Jabari Smith Jr. Then you add a vet guy like Freddie V to that.
And Dylan Brooks is giving us some tasks.
Guys like Dylan Brooks, Villain Brooks. I'm gonna call him Villain Brooks. Guys like him, guys like Jeff Green off the bench have been key to that team. I mean, every night. I mean, that team doesn't get blown out anymore. That team really plays defense. They're really in all the games. I mean, they blew the Nuggets out just a few nights ago. So I mean, that team is.
I'm going to stay out. I'm going to stay out west. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I have them as a contender. I like what I've seen out of Minnesota. And I think now that they have a full season with Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns is actually healthy this season, Minnesota is a contender. They're just really good on offense. They're really good on defense. And I know Anthony Edwards has been hurt the last couple of games, but they still managed to win. Give me Minnesota as a contender. Izzy, unless you guys have any argument against that.
Yeah, no, there is no argument against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
There's a small argument. I think
TJ's a little biased. He's not the biggest Karl Anthony Towns fan, but that team is the number one team. That team's the number one defense in the league.
Defensive rating. Don't get me wrong. Like I I can't find many holes in your argument, David. Like the only one I can find is we kind of saw it a bit last season, right? Like they do dumb stuff, right? Like your starting power forward punches a wall, breaks his hand, he's out for the playoffs, right? I still think that there's some kind of dissension in the ranks. Me personally, it's not a discussion. That the pecking order goes Anthony Edwards, Cat, then everybody else. You might have a feeling that Cat still thinks he's the top dog. Like, nah, bruh. Young gun
he's definitely not the top dog.
You the second option.
Yeah.
You the second
and then
option.
Off the bench, they got a nice little bench. I think Kyle Anderson, Shake Milton both come off the bench. Decent contributors. If I have to go with another contender, I'm actually gonna go with Philly, man. I like what I see out of Philly. I think Tyrese Maxey is taking his game to another level. If Joel Embiid remains to stay healthy, I think Nick Nurse has got that team playing, hitching on all cylinders. That team is definitely they're playing with a little bit more energy, a little bit more of a vibe than they did with Doc. I think the message that Doc was providing to them wasn't getting across. But I mean, that team with also having Patrick Beverly as well. I mean, they got some dogs on that team. Tobias Harris has been stepping up this season, and it's just like I don't know if it's just like the James Harden effect or whatever. But Tyrese Maxey, man, he's putting up some numbers that if they're number one seed, I mean, he could be in contention for possibly not most improved player, but also MVP.
Man. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just saw a fantasy football trade that I'm not particularly happy about. Moving on from into TJ. Sorry.
David,
TJ, go.
We're on
TJ,
NBA. We're on the basketball. Come on, man.
TJ, go ahead.
OKC Thunder are contenders. I don't know what much more needs to be said. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is a legitimate MVP candidate. Chet Holmgren is rookie, like he's a rookie of the year candidate, and that's kind of the thing that irked me about all the Wemby hype. Like, I get it, don't get me wrong, I 100% get it, but don't sleep on the other rookies in the class. Chet Holmgren,
he's playing on a very terrible team.
I don't care.
No, it's just Wemby. Okay, just not to go off topic.
Scoring, Thunder also top 5 in points per game. Not
to go off topic. TJ, and I'll let you finish.
Top 2 in point differential.
Wemby, the difference between Wemby and Chet is Wemby actually, Chet actually has a true point guard, and the San Antonio Spurs are whipping out Jeremy Shohan, who is not a point guard, which I don't understand what Pop is doing. And then also the fact that
Pop having fun.
Wemby, and also he is having fun, but also the fact that I watch a lot of San Antonio Spurs games, is probably as much as a lot of people, and it's just that team just doesn't have the continuity like the Oklahoma City Thunder do. The Oklahoma City Thunder actually know what the hell they're doing on the floor, as opposed to the San Antonio Spurs, where it's like it's kind of like seems a little disorganized. It's like we don't even really run. Pop doesn't even really run plays for Wemby like that. He just just go out there.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that in Orlando, right? Like when you got all these young bills on the same team and they've been losing for so long, right? They've been losing for a long time, and then all of a sudden you get the right pieces.
I think we lost them. Also, with the Oklahoma City Thunder, sorry about that, TJ. Also, with the Oklahoma City Thunder, we got to watch out for the Josh Giddey situation. I know it's the off-court things.
It starts still to
yet to be right. Yeah. We lost you a little bit there. Yeah, but I was going to say about the Oklahoma City Thunder, TJ, is that we got to watch out for that Josh Giddey situation. But I do like their depth. You got J-Dub. You like J-Dub. You got Jalen Williams. Isaiah Joe's a sniper off the bench. Yeah, I mean that team. Yeah, that team is pretty damn.
The only issue that you might run into with OKC is like Orlando, the youth, the lack of veteran presence in that locker room. I'm not saying they don't have it, but I'm just saying like they don't have a lot of guys that's been in that situation, those high pressure situations where it's like let's say they get into a playoff scenario against somebody who's been there. right? They don't know what it's like to, hey, all of a sudden you up 15. Now all of a sudden that 15-point lead is down to 6, and the team that you playing, like they've been here before, like they don't have that calming presence in the locker room or on the floor to be like, hey, just calm down. We all right. We gonna be okay.
I kind of look at them. I kind of look at them in the mode that said like how Boston Celtics did with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, kind of letting all the young guys kind of grow up a little bit. They don't really have a lot of veterans. They just let them all grow up, and I think Oklahoma City's right there, in the thick of things in a way. So
yeah.
Moving on from there, let's talk about my next team. And I'm in a good mood this morning or afternoon, whoever you happen to be.
Are you? That fantasy trade team got you in the?
I'm real upset. I'm real pissed off about what's happening. Like, because this is the thing. There's a guy who's been eliminated from the playoffs. He is no longer able to make the playoffs, yet he continues to fucking make trades. It's pissing me the fuck off.
Moving
on.
Whoa!
It is really pissing me off.
David showing emotion.
Moving on.
You don't want to piss
Positive
David on Point Huffman off.
Positive Pete show. I'm going to go New Orleans, and I'm going to put them in contender. I liked what I've seen out of New Orleans. I know Brandon Ingram's missed some time. Zion Williamson played a game, was it Friday or yesterday, where you missed one shot. I think New Orleans is the real deal. Look for them to make a trade, particularly for the deadline. They got a lot of young assets, and they got a lot of trade assets as well. So look for them to maybe make a move. New Orleans, New Orleans, I think is legit contender.
Also getting CJ McCollum back after CJ McCollum back after coming back from this health scare. And I like Dyson Daniels. He's very versatile. Trey Murphy too. Yeah, Big Z, Big V, Big whatever. Jonas Valanciunas, the Big Val. Jonas Valanciunas is solid in the center. So I like that. Assessment. Even though they're the 8th seed right now, they're in the play-in right now, I think.
Well, it's like 6 or 7 teams in the West with like 6 losses. It's a
they're 11-9. They're 11-9. They're basically one game back of being the 4 seed. So
it's a gauntlet. I'm gonna go. Is it your turn? It's your turn.
It's my turn. Yeah, it's my turn. Next, actually, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna go to the Eastern Conference. And I'm gonna say my pretender is gonna be the Brooklyn Nets. Like, I don't even know why you got them up there, David.
Well, so real quick, I want to address that. Every team that's in the play-in bracket, like the top 10 seeds, I eliminated the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks and the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns because I don't think we need to address them.
Okay. The Brooklyn Nets are definitely a pretender.
So
that's fair. Yeah. The Brooklyn Nets are definitely a pretender. They're a nice little. They're not even a nice little team. They're just inconsistent, right? I like Spencer Dinwiddie's definitely inconsistent at the point guard position. But Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson put up a really good game, albeit I think it was against they were playing who were they playing? I think they were playing Washington, if I'm not mistaken, or somebody. Who were they playing the other night? But was it Washington the other night? Yeah, but they're just still pretty inconsistent. They can beat the really bad teams. The game against the Bulls, where they're down 20-something, and they come back and they win that game still.
Well,
I mean, they got hot. This is a really streaky team. Cam Thomas is a microwave off the bench. He's probably the front runner to win 6th Player of the Year. So that's Nicholas Claxton in the center position. I like the Brooklyn Nets, but not as a contender, more of a pretender. They're a playing team.
Go ahead, TJ.
Staying in the East, the New York Knicks. I wish there was another category because how you categorize the Orlando Magic, like that tweener, that's what the Knicks are, right? Like depending on the matchup, they can get a 1st round win, and then they run into somebody who's a little better than them, and so on and so forth. But for this, since there is no category like that, they got to be pretenders. For the simple fact, I just don't think eventually they run into the same problems, right? Offense gets stale. And this is this has been David's biggest gripe with Tom Thibodeau coach teams since he started coaching, right? Eventually you get figured out and he fails to make the necessary offensive adjustments. Tom Thibodeau team is going to always be in the fray. They're going to always be in the mix, barring catastrophic injuries. For the simple fact that his teams play defense. For a fact, when you play a Tom Thibodeau-led team, it's going to be probably the hardest game you play all year because they go like it's gonna be scrappy.
You're gonna feel, but I mean, Julius Randle's playoff performances the last 2 seasons have really left a lot to be. Actually, 2 of the last 3 seasons they make the playoffs in between that. But yeah, they.
You can make the argument, and you can make the argument like the reason that happens is because his main contributors are just by the playoffs. They just ran into the ground. Like 48-minute games, right? 48 minutes. Like Julius Randle playing 44 minutes, RJ Barrett playing 42 minutes.
He's not really even scoring like you want him to score. The thing about RJ Barrett, he just hasn't taken that next step. I think where we all want to see him.
Jalen Brunson playing 46 minutes with Julius Randle. It's like, bruh, like you just run your key guys into the ground, and by the time you get to the playoffs, they ain't got nothing left. They hit a ball.
Defensively, they're a really solid team. Though.
Defensively, they're fine. Defensively, they're fine. Defensively, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be top 5, top 10 defensive units in the league. Mm-hmm. It's the other side of the ball.
Moving on from your prediction, I'm going to stay in the Eastern Conference, and I'm going to go a little bit negative here. I'm going to go with the Indiana Pacers. I think that they're pretenders. I just don't think you could sustain the kind of sure they're scoring a lot of points. They're the number 1 scoring defense in the offensive team in the NBA right now, but they're just giving up a billion points a game too. They're in the bottom 10 for defense. I don't think that's sustainable for an entire season. I think they're pretenders. And when Tyrese Halliburton, if he misses any time whatsoever, they're not a good basketball team. They need him to basically run the show. You can make the argument he may be the most valuable player in the NBA right now for his team.
Was he averaging almost 28 a game almost?
Yeah, at least the NBA in assists.
28 and 11.
Yeah,
28 and 11 or something like that. Yeah, with the Indiana Pacers, man, that's another team. Just young, just kind of still getting, but they're very talented. You can actually make a case for all the rest of the Eastern Conference teams that they are all pretenders. To be honest with you, the only contender that you really had, I think, is the Philadelphia 76ers, in my opinion. I'm going to move over to the.
I can't disrespect Miami like that for the simple fact that they literally are just coming off a finals appearance. You got to give them that. You got to give them.
I'm gonna.
You ain't got to like it.
I ain't making that argument. You can make that argument. I'm actually going to swing over to the Western Conference. I'm actually going to swing over to the Western Conference, and I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks as contenders. I've liked what I've seen out of the Dallas Mavericks so far this year. Having Derek Lively in the middle has been big for them. He's one of the better rookies to come into the NBA defensively. Luka, Kyrie. It's just like this. It's whenever either one wants to get off, they can go off. Even though I know the yesterday they didn't have a great showing against the Memphis Grizzlies, which
Luka
is whatever. Look good, right? But yeah, no, I like that team, man. Tim Hardaway Jr. Was it not Jalen Green? What's his name? The other Green kid,
Josh Green.
Australian boy, Josh Green. Josh Green, solid.
I like Jaden Hardy.
Yeah, Jaden Hardy. A lot of those guys, man.
Again, like y'all know how I feel. I think Jaden Hardy should definitely be playing more than what he is. But first things first. Congratulations to Luka Doncic.
Grant Williams was a nice addition for them as well.
Oh, absolutely. So, congratulations to Luka Doncic. Became a father for the first time yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, that's why he missed the game against Memphis. I
like what Jason Kidd said the other day to McMahon from the ESPN. He said, write something positive about us because last year you wanted to write something negative about us, but start writing something positive about us because we're balling right now. The only story you want to write is something when it's negative, when we're not doing well, or when we get knocked out the playoffs. Write something positive because right now we're clicking on all cylinders. So
TJ.
Staying in going back to East because I got to make that argument. But Miami Heat are contenders again. They've been there, and how many times have we seen them where it looks like I'm not expecting too much out of them. I don't see it, and all of a sudden they get crazy hot. They go on a crazy run. They win games they ain't supposed to. They win series they ain't supposed to. And everybody talking about Wemby and Chet, the rookie, everybody really need to be talking about Jaime Jaquez. Like when you earn Eric Spoelstra's respect this early, it's moments in the clutch Jaime Jaquez, he on the floor, he playing defense, and he bringing the ball up, initiating the offense in the clutch. This is a team with Jimmy Butler on the squad, with Kyle Lowry on the squad, with Tyler Hero on the squad. And Eric Spoelstra has all the confidence in the world to give the ball to his young rookie and say, hey, go make a play.
And you can make that same argument as well. I mean, well, I wouldn't say Peyton Watson, but look what Mike Malone was doing with Peyton Watson yesterday, right? Rookie from UCLA. He had him on KD in like the fourth quarter, like in clutch situations. I'm like, what in the world? And the kid was actually holding his own. KD was missing all types of shots that he usually makes. So some of these rookies, and I forgot who said it. I think was it Draymond Green or somebody said it, that this rookie class, they don't play like rookies. These guys play like they've been there before. So this is one of the more solid rookie classes, especially defensively. This is a very solid rookie class. But yeah, no, Miami. I think with Miami's problem, I think with Miami's problem is just, just the lack of depth, in my opinion. Like who's gonna come up, right? I know Bam's having a career high. He's career high in points this year. Jimmy's kind of been kind of coasting this year. I expect Jimmy to kind of pick it up towards the end of the season. And then also Duncan Robinson, with Max Strus gone in Cleveland. Duncan Robinson has actually elevated his game this season for the Miami Heat as well. But it's just the depth off the bench. I mean, what are we going to get? Haywood Highsmith's nice player, but I don't see him being a guy like who was the undrafted guy that's in LA now.
Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent. I don't see him being a type of guy.
He hasn't been good for the Lakers this season.
He hasn't. I expect he's probably gonna get traded.
But he also hasn't been playing. Like Gabe Vincent's hurt right now, right?
Yeah. So
anyway.
Go ahead, Dave.
I'm going to swing into the Western Conference. We're going to go back to a Positive Pete show. I'm taking the Lakers. I'm putting them in contenders. As long as you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and you have the ability to make trades, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, all names being thrown around, I think the Lakers are contenders. I got nothing else to justify it, but
they're gonna have to get rid of their lover boy at point guard, Austin Reeves, or they're gonna have to get rid of D'Angelo Russell. I'm pretty sure they want to get rid of D'Angelo Russell instead.
It's D'Angelo Russell.
But I heard the Bulls really want Austin Reeves for Zach LaVine.
Well, they can want Bulls can want whatever they want, but they've dug themselves into a massive hole. We're gonna talk about them in a hot minute here.
Okay, yeah. So you know what? I'll stay with the Western Conference. I'm actually gonna go. The Golden State Warriors are pretenders this year. I think their windows.
Yeah, somebody had to say it. Hey.
I think their windows closed.
I agree with you. I think
their windows closed. They're gonna have to start. They're gonna have to start looking to trade some of these guys.
Like he's been good this season.
Klay Thompson needs a change of scenery. He needs a change of scenery. Like that game against Sacramento, right? Where Sacramento came back from 20. They were up 1 with like 10 seconds left. Curry dribbles into a double team, shoots a stupid 3. When it's like, dude, Klay Thompson is wide open, bro. Wide open for the 3-point shot. And you don't even see him. You're just shooting the shot. So, I mean, when I look at that team, like Kuminga, little nice rotational player. Moody's, kind of been a better rotational player. Draymond Green getting up there. He's not giving you the consistent points. And he's also still a hothead. Godly. I like the Dario Saric addition. But look, man, this team, they're just nowhere near as good defensively. They're not closing out games like they should be. I like the fact that other rookie, Brandon Pajemski, has been stepping up a little bit. Chris Paul's been hurt a little bit. I think he's been hurt the last couple games, but he should be back. But I mean, this team is old. They need to start getting younger, and I think they need to start trading some of those big 3 guys like Drake. I don't think Draymond Green goes, but I think Klay Thompson goes. Stephen Curry is untouchable.
Klay Thompson.
Everybody on that team. Everybody on that team is all game except for Stephen Curry. That's it.
Like here's the thing. We can move on from there. Steve Kerr, for whatever reason, has a unwillingness to play the younger guys, and it's almost like he's being forced to play the younger guys. Like you gotta play.
He has to.
I think that one of the problems with it is like when it's all said and done, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry are gonna have statues outside of the org.
Yeah,
or whatever it's called
both
The window's
statues,
closed. The window's closed.
statues, jerseys in the rafters. The
Like,
whole,
they're gonna
Andrew
have,
Wiggins
like,
is inconsistent.
the whole
I
you
mean,
did.
but he doesn't have any value. You're not trading for Andrew Wiggins. Like Klay Thompson,
Right.
they should trade. They should look to trade him, like in a Zach LaVine trade potentially with
The
some
whole
draft
you
picks.
did. Well,
Some assets.
you have to throw him in there because the money works. But
Yeah.
it's like, and I've said it. I've said it for forever. Like the worst thing you can do, the worst thing you can be as a young player on a championship ready team. That's also one of the best things for you. But at the same time, like if you're Steve Kerr's not just gonna throw you out there because you're young and da 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 da. Like no, like you got to earn minutes with Steve Kerr. And like you said,
You're up next, TJ.
who we got? What, Atlanta? Yeah, move them to the Pretenders. Ain't nothing else to be said. They're just they are just like the definition of mid, like dead ass. Like they are just that. Because that's just we can all agree on that. Cleveland,
One of the worst defensive teams in the NBA too, is by the way.
probably.
I mean, when your best player is one of the statistically the worst defender in the league, that's how it goes.
I think we have, what are they, like 25th, 26th in like defensive rating? It's bad.
Atlanta,
When I watch them, it's track meet.
Atlanta is just like I don't know, like what's again. Trae Young is on his what? Fourth? No, third. Fourth coach?
I think it's fourth coach because I think he had. Yeah, I think pretty sure it's four.
What, Lloyd Pierce?
Because Lloyd Pierce, Nick Millen, and then.
Hey, but the other day I actually saw Quinn Snyder give a post though off that sideline, getting a tech. I was like, oh, okay, Quinn. All right, Quinn, because he's usually not doing shit.
I'll move on from the Hawks. Let's talk about the Cavs. This is a positive Pete show, but I'm sorry, Cavs. You are pretenders as well. Yeah, their team, like Evan Mobley hasn't taken that step that many people thought he would take, especially on the offensive side of the basketball. And there's all these Donovan Mitchell rumors about like this is a big important season for the Cavs. They got to be competitive, or they could look to trade him because he's not gonna. He's under. I think he has an opt out after this season, where he can become a free agent and walk. So yeah, this is important. The Cavs are pretenders. Izzy, last team. Sacramento Kings.
Last team. I know TJ is probably going to disagree with me on this one, but the Sacramento Kings are contenders. Okay.
I would disagree with that.
Why would I disagree with that?
No, they're contenders. No, well, David, you're going to disagree with me. Well, because they're just finally getting De'Aaron Fox. They're getting De'Aaron Fox back after being injured for a few weeks, and he has been putting up a crazy amount of points. He's been putting up some great performances, especially the one against Golden State the other night. He had a dud, I believe, against the Clippers, though. He had a pretty good game against the Clippers. No, De'Aaron Fox had a good game against the Clippers. But I will say this: no, Sabonis is the one that had a dud against them. Sabonis. I like what's his name? Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray, solid shooting at 3-and-D. Davion Mitchell off the bench, Malik Monk off the bench, who's a flamethrower. Davion Mitchell is probably one of the better defensive guards in the league as a backup.
The Kings are also the Kings are also in the Zach LaVine sweepstakes. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, JaVale McGee barely comes off. And I can't pronounce the Russian guy's name. I don't know if he's Russian or not.
He got
number seven. Number seven got a torch.
He got a torch.
Mendikov or whatever. He's got a torch. The red sniper Kevin Horner, he's got a torch too. He's been putting up some hella performances.
I don't know how to pronounce that name either.
Number seven. I'm gonna say number 7 from the Sacramento Kings, man. He has got a burner.
Is it Vensikov? Is it Vensikov?
Vensikov. Oh my God.
Hold on.
Sasha Vensikov.
Dude, I think he could be in the 3-point contest and actually win that mug, bro. Like he's got a burner. I think
he should have 43% in his last 10 games. That's pretty damn good.
And then also, Trey.
He's a 28-year-old rookie. He was drafted in 2017 by the Brooklyn Nets.
Say what you want, and say what you want. Say what you want about Trey Lyle, but Trey Lyle is actually a solid contribution off the bench.
Man, he
He's
continues
actually
he
improved.
continues to just hang around the NBA. Like,
Yes. Say what you want about Trey Lyles, but he's a solid contribution off the bench. He's definitely a bust, but he's a solid contribution off the bench. So I like the Sacramento Kings. Give Mike Brown.
If you hang around the NBA for 12 years or whatever, you're not a bust, man.
I mean, for where he got picked.
If you're bust to like flame out of the NBA in like 4 seasons.
No. This is Izzy's point. Like, because where he was drafted versus the production he's giving you didn't draft Trey Lyles to be a journeyman.
I know, but like
you drafted him to be coming off the bench.
If you have like a 12-year NBA career, dude, I have a hard time considering you a bust.
Okay, so wait, hold on. So is Kwame Brown a bust?
I mean, he hung around the league for a long time, made a lot of money. So
Trey
got picked number 1 overall, I guess. Whatever.
Kwame Brown, you can't say that because Kwame, I don't know, David, you can't, because Kwame Brown is universally regarded as one of the biggest busts of all time. Don't matter if he hung around.
Yeah, I mean, he might have a couple rings.
Number 1 overall pick.
Moving on from the Contenders, Pretenders, one of the teams that we did not talk about during the first segment of the show, Chicago Bulls. Early season struggles. They're 6-14 so far. They have the worst record in the Eastern Conference. Their starting lineup is the worst offensive defensive rating in the NBA, and the starting lineup.
Not true.
It is true. It is true.
No, Izzy shared something where the defensive rating was like
this is coming from
they're like middle of the pack.
This is from MSNBC. So the starting lineup of DeMar, Vucevic, Levine, Torrey Craig, and Kobe White account for 95.6, whatever the rating is here. So
that offense or defense?
That's offense. Their defensive rating with those same 5 guys on the floor is like 130 points. I believe that's like given up in a 60-minute game. So they're statistically the worst offensive and defensive team per 100 possessions. So of 100 possessions.
So I'm on NBA.com. Their defensive rating is 115.2. That's good for 21st. So, they're better than Brooklyn, Dallas, Utah, Detroit, Atlanta, San Antonio, Indiana.
That's the entire roster. We're talking about just the starting lineup.
Oh, okay.
Just the starting 5. But yeah, I mean, it's been a struggle for the Chicago Bulls. The poor start. I mean, it's back to reloading this team and coming back with the same lineup. Let's talk about what the Bulls should do and what do you think the Bulls will actually do?
Well, I'll let TJ have the floor on this one.
Well, it's kind of like what I said. What was going to happen after the after last season? So like the first year these guys get together. Right, it's you're first in the East. You catch everybody off guard, kinda. Lonzo and Alex Caruso are one of the best defensive backcourts in the league. Then all of a sudden, Lonzo goes down, and the team never really recovered from that. Their schedule after the All-Star break was one of the toughest in the league, and the Bulls were were on pace to win 50 games. They were on pace to win 50 games and get the 5th seed. Instead, they stumble into the 6th seed. You get an unfavorable matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks, where their size just overwhelmed you, and they blew your ass out in 5 games. They handled business. You come back, Lonzo Ball is still out, and you never really recover from that. You still haven't found his replacement. You tried, but the guy that you drafted can't even crack the rotation. Where we're at right now is firing Billy Donovan talk and bringing in a new head coach, and then
I don't know if that really helps anything.
It doesn't, but it doesn't. But at the same time, Billy Donovan's been here for a while. The message is, you can tell it's kind of starting to get stale if it hasn't already. Last night. The other night you played Milwaukee with no Levine and no DeRozan. Vooch has his best game of the season. He goes off for 29, 10, and 6. Kobe White has 23, 7, and 4. It's I think they had like 8 guys in double figures. The Patrick Williams pick hasn't worked. He's shown flashes, but the problem is it's like, hey, bro, it's enough of the flashes. Put this shit together. Like you have the skill set.
I mean, he's coming off your bench now. Like, this is a guy you drafted top 4 overall.
Top 4.
Like
it's.
Oh, they should have known. They should have known that when he was a bench player as a freshman. I mean, he was ACC
Freshman of the year.
six man
I
of the
mean,
year.
I mean, he
Six
has
man of the
moments
year.
during the season where he's been like unplayable, like
And
coming off
so,
the bench, scoring
that
6
game
points
where
per game.
that game where the Brooklyn Nets came back and won by they won by they came back from 20 or whatever. He had like 11 in the first quarter. That's the Patrick Williams we want to see.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
But I mean, he plays like a
have,
different guy when the people are out. Like when he's like remember like a couple of years ago he scored 44 points in that game where like all the major starters were out because the Bulls already locked up the playoff spot. Like hey man, like if you can score like this and be aggressive, let's see this when you're like the stars of your team. Like you just take a back seat and it's like, oh, I don't have to do anything.
The issue with that is, and we kind of see it with Vucevic too, because we see instances where Vucevic gets mismatches in the paint all the time, and he don't get the ball. Like again against the Milwaukee Bucks, there were moments where Vooch had Monte Morris on him or Damian Lillard on him, and he didn't get the ball. And it's like that 29 that he had could have easily been like 31, 30, 35, whatever, if you just get him the paint touches that he needs. I think Billy Donovan, I think he doesn't have the personality to check a Debo, to check a Zach LaVine, because those two are your stars. And Vucevic has the right to be like, Vucevic has the right to come to him and be like, hey, I'm a star too. Because how the Bulls really should play is inside out. We should legit start the game feeding Vooch in the post. And then once they collapse on him, because he's a willing passer, David knows this, Izzy, you know this too. And when they get the ball out, like when Zach LaVine and DeRozan get the ball, they're ball stoppers. Everybody stops and watches them try to do their thing, and the offense is just really stagnant when those two guys have the ball. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like teams know, like, hey, we stop these two dudes, they'll fold relatively fast.
I also think Vucevic's fit on this Bulls team has always been clunky, even from the start. Like the way that they've coached him, the way they've utilized him in offensive sets, like they basically made a guy who was a 2010 guy into a pick and pop 3-point shooter. And sure, he can do that, but he was in Orlando.
He's a paint beast.
Yeah, he was they basically have created him into a pick and pop shooter from the 3-point line, and his fit always has been clunky. The Bulls, it's time to hit the reset button on this. They need to trade away everybody who has value. They never should have re-upped this roster this offseason. Like they shouldn't have re-signed Vucevic. They should have tried to see if they can put him into a sign and trade and see if they can move him and get some assets for him.
I had no issue with them bringing this roster back. The issue that they have is Lonzo Ball is not back yet.
Lonzo Ball's not coming back.
Like that's
probably not coming back.
Right, that's the whole up. Like they did not anticipate this injury being
but this offseason they knew that Lonzo Ball was probably not in their future plans. They should not have re-signed up this entire roster. Like run this back one more season. Like they should, like now the Zach LaVine trade value is way lower than it could be. We're talking about like them getting like a Bradley Beal package back for him. And if you had tried to trade him this offseason, I think you could have gotten better value than whatever they're going to get in a trade for him before the trade deadline if they do decide
I'm not buying, and I understand Woj said it, and what Woj says is gospel, but there's no way you expect me to believe that there's no trade market for a guy that can give you 25 to 30 on a nightly basis. I'm not buying that. I think what it is because to bring the Lakers back into this, right? The Lakers are one of the teams to keep an eye on in Zach LaVine watch, right? Some of the guys on that roster, they can't be traded till December 15th. David, you pointed that out. Yeah, because if I'm the Bulls, I want D'Angelo Russell. I need that point guard play. I need that. D'Angelo Russell can't be traded till the 15th. My big concern with them
recently re-signed. Yeah.
Right. My big concern with them is not the players that they get back in the deal. It's the potential trade draft capital that they get in the deal. Like I saw a deal with the Knicks, but like all the first round picks that the Knicks have,
They're all
they
protected,
they're all protected, and it's like if we do that, we're not getting we're not getting any first round picks because they're
at least
super
not, at least not right away. I think the protections on them limit or change as the season goes on. But yeah, this is something the Bulls should have done a while ago. They should have once they knew
blown it up.
Once they know what Alonzo Ball's future was, they should have probably pulled the trigger on trading away a couple of the pieces on this team.
No, like your saving grace now is like for this is like all right, like we're saying this right. Like it looks terrible right now. You're 6-14, right? It's still early. It's not even Christmas yet. Like that's what they're probably telling themselves in that locker room. Like, hey, we can still turn this thing around. It's still early enough for us to right this ship. It's still early. That's what they're telling themselves.
I also think that AK came in as like this Zara guru guy. I don't think he wants to pull the plug on this because admit that hey, the team that I put together
he failed
didn't work out.
I think that's my big gripe with Bulls fans right now. It's like they're comparing this new regiment to Gar Pax. I'm like, you cannot compare 4 years to 20.
But I think his unwillingness to pull the plug on this would mean hey, I didn't do a good job building this roster. I'm resetting this. I think that's one of the because he comes in as like this Zara Guru guy, like the fixer.
I can't even say that because like at the end of the day, like yeah, he built the Nuggets. He played a role in building the Nuggets. But look how long that took. We're not going to sit here and act like he built the Nuggets overnight.
No, I mean they took. I mean, they didn't win the title until he's been gone for 4 seasons. I mean, come on. Look at one of the draft picks that he took that he missed on. Like, people forget. I think he drafted Gary Harris. Where's Gary Harris now? He ain't in Denver. I mean, Gary Harris was good for them. I mean,
was he?
Isn't Gary?
You don't get rid of guy. You don't get rid of guy.
What the hell is Gary Harris? Is Gary Harris? Is
he
Orlando? He's not in Orlando. He's in Orlando.
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
But
what the Bulls should do. Let's talk about what you think they actually will do.
I honestly do think this is what I do think the Bulls are going to do. They're going to find a way to trade. They're going to find a way to trade Levine, and they're going to find a way to trade.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're
going to find. I think they're going to find a way to trade all 3 of these guys.
I think
and try and get as much draft capital back as they can.
I think that's what AK is doing. I think AK is giving this unit till whenever the deadline is. I think he's giving them to the deadline. Whenever the trade deadline is. He's giving them to the deadline.
All 3 of these guys deserve to be on a contending team. DeRozan definitely believes to be on a contending team. Levine deserves to be on a contending, and Vucevic deserves to be on a contending team.
I would love to see
what team.
I would love to be another contender team. I would love to see him.
I would love to see. I mean, I know the money has to work, but I mean, let's look at some teams that have like some draft capital, right? Like Oklahoma City. Who else has some draft capital? Brooklyn.
The Pelicans. Brooklyn.
Pelicans. I mean, you're looking at all like Oklahoma City could definitely use a Nikola Vucevic right now.
Like the
Pelicans could definitely use DeMar DeRozan right now.
DeMar DeRozan.
Here's the thing. I think of the 3, the only one if I was to say someone doesn't get traded, I think it is DeMar. Because I think DeMar
he's got the expiring contract. Like, how many teams are going to want to trade with a guy who can walk in the off? Who's going to give a legit asset away for a guy who can walk away?
And he's also kind of stated that like he wants this to be his last stop. I think DeMar is perfectly content with if he finishes his career as a Chicago Bull, he's fine. And is he like people may what you call it, they may trash him for that, but at the end of the day, folks got to understand one thing: like everybody ain't gonna win. Like everybody,
at the end of the season, one team hosts the Larry O'Brien Trophy every year. One.
And if there's a third guy outside of DeMar or 4th guy outside of DeMar,
Alex Caruso, I think
it's Alex Caruso.
Alex Caruso has probably the most value on the team.
Most value.
He's really easy to trade. He's on an expiring deal. It doesn't make a lot of money. Like he's an easy trade piece to just trade away for a 1st round pick. I think that could easily happen.
I don't think you're getting a 1st round for.
We do that, right? Like say like the deadline comes, we move these guys, we get those assets. It's likely that Billy Donovan is done at the end of the season. Now we're into who's who we hiring to coach this team now.
I think you get some young assistant. We'll talk. I mean, we'll talk about offseason stuff, but I'm a little more pessimistic about the Bulls. I honestly don't think they're. I do not think that they're going to make a franchise-altering move before the deadline. I think they're going to stay pat. I think this is a team they're looking at like, hey, let's see if we can get. Let's see what we can do in the offseason. I don't think they're going to blow this team up. I think this is going to a team that's going to be sitting here. We're going to be talking about this in April. We're going to have like the similar players on this roster. We're continuing. I
don't think Mark Jackson's going to coach ever again, man.
I agree with you on that. From that, the final conversation. Let's do GOAT talk. And TJ, I got this one. If you don't have somebody set up, I want to do something a little bit different as opposed to doing two guys. I got three guys.
I have a start bench cut.
We can do that. We can do that after. Let's start with player number one, drafted in 1999, the 7th overall pick. He played for the Washington Wizards, Detroit Pistons, and the Chicago Bulls. He was an NBA champion in 2004, three-time.
No.
Three-time NBA All-Star. He is player one. Is Richard Hamilton, averaging 17.1 points per game, 3.2 rebounds, 3.4 assists per game. He is a college basketball Hall of Fame inductee this last year, actually.
Last year, right?
Yep.
Man, that man was furious off the screens. That man
he won a gold medal in the FIBA championships in 1999. So player one is Richard Hamilton. Player two was drafted in 1998. He was a second-round pick, 32nd overall. He had played for the Seattle Supersonics, Orlando Magic, the Wizards, and the Heat. He is a 2023 NBA
The Nightmare!
Champion, a two-time All-Star. Lewis. He was Mr. Basketball USA 1998, McDonald's All-American. He 15 points a game, 5 rebounds, and assists. He also won gold in the Brisbane Goodwill Games in 2001. Rashard Lewis is player number two.
That's one of David's favorite players right there.
It is.
Ever since I know David. Rashard Lewis.
And player number three, coming from Elmhurst, Illinois. He was the second round pick, number 46 overall in 1986. He played for the Phoenix Suns, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Utah Jazz. He's a one-time All-Star, two-time NBA three-point champion in 1998 and 2000.
Dan Marley.
No, it is not Dan Marley.
Damn, not Dan Marley.
He was drafted. He averaged 15 points a game, 3 rebounds, 5 assists per game.
Rex Chapman.
It is not Rex Chapman. 86. He was drafted 86, second round, 46 overall by the Phoenix Suns.
What college did he go to?
He went to Iowa State. He's a Cyclone. His number is currently retired there.
What teams was it again?
Suns, Sixers, Jazz.
Is that Hornacek?
It is Jeff Hornacek.
Jeff Hornacek. Oh, I forgot he was from Illinois. Good
I did not know that. I swear to God, I did not know that he was from.
I didn't know he was from Illinois. He is from
Elmhurst, Illinois. He's currently I don't know what he's doing currently. He's a coaching consultant for the Utah Jazz.
Jeff Hornacek was a bucket.
Yeah. Averaged 20.1 points per game for the Phoenix Suns in 1991-92. So you got three guys. You got Jeff Hornacek, you got Rashard Lewis, a.k.a. the Nightmare, and Richard the Rip Hamilton. If you had to pick one of those three guys.
Who am I picking? If I had to pick,
it's easy. It's easy for me. It's easy for me. And there's no disrespect to some other dudes. Give me the one that's 6'10". Give me him.
And that can shoot threes and that can dunk over people. And Rashard Lewis in his prime in Orlando. My gosh! And then when he was in Seattle, it was him. It was Ray Allen. It was Radmanovich.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! They were just
Luke Ridnour. Luke
Ridnour. Oh man.
Ridnour. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm also taking Rashard Lewis, but this is close because Richard Hamilton. Fun fact: Richard Hamilton, highest scoring season for his career, is the exact same as Jeff Hornacek. They both averaged 20.1 points per game.
The one thing I'll say is
we can't sleep on neither one of these guys, especially not Jeff Hornacek. You come and see Jeff Hornacek in the baggy socks or whatever, and the short shorts. He's a white dude. He looks like he teaches like physics or something, and he's
his final season of the NBA in 1999-2000. He shot it 48% from the 3-point line. for the season. Like, that
One
is some number, man.
Jeff in Phoenix. Jeff Hornacek in Phoenix was a whole different player than he was in Utah. I mean,
one
Jeff
thing
Phoenix
I'll
was
say is
solid.
this.
Oh my gosh.
One
Yeah,
thing-
I'm actually gonna go with Rashard Lewis as well.
The one thing I'll say is this. Yeah,
He's more athletic than both of those guys. He's more versatile than both of those guys. I mean,
one thing I'll say
Rashard Lewis
is this,
in the Magic with Dwight Howard and Turkoglu.
Oh
my gosh.
Jameer Nelson, yeah.
Jameer Nelson. I mean, that was just a scary team, man.
Hey,
Mikael Petrus or one of the Petrus,
Yeah,
whatever
Mikael
one it was.
Petrus. Yeah, it was Mikael Petrus.
One
His
thing I'll say-
brother played in the NBA too, right?
No, I don't think his brother ever made it. I know he did.
I don't even know who his brother is.
The one thing I'll say is this, right? Hey, you know for a fact, all three of them dudes, they gonna play 42 minutes.
Jordan even said Hornacek was a very tough cover in his career.
Like, here's the thing, because
So-
like you gotta keep in mind, like all those, like, so when we do these GOAT talks, the one thing we look at is the minutes these guys played, the minutes these guys averaged, and 9 times out of 10 they are well into the 40s.
Actually, not in this particular conversation. Of those three guys, who do you think had the season where they played the most amount of minutes of those three?
The most?
Richard Hamilton.
Yeah.
Richard
Incorrect.
Hornacek.
Incorrect. It's actually Rashard Lewis. Yeah, in 2002, 2003, he averaged 39 points, basically 40 minutes a night, while playing 77 games. Like,
what year was this? Wait, what year was this?
This is 2002, 2003.
Oh my gosh, that's Seattle Supersonics, Rashard Lewis.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
18.1 points.
Oh,
per
they
game.
ran that young whippersnapper into the ground, boy.
The one thing
because he also came right out of high school.
He did.
Yeah. Oh, they were like, oh, you get minutes. That was back in the day, early 2000s, when teams actually played their high school players, when they actually played the young guys like 40 minutes a game. They're like, oh, you're just gonna play 40 minutes a game. We're gonna suck with you or not. You know?
You're young and scrappy. Just go play.
Young and scrappy. Just go. When they actually believed in high school players and 18-year-olds.
And we also got to acknowledge the fact that low key Rip Hamilton was Steph. He was Steph before Steph, with all the movement out the coming off ball screens, like moving without the. You had to be in tip top shape and condition when you played Rip Hamilton.
The Steph Curry of 2-pointers.
Basically, he was he run like from the time the ball goes in up from the tip. Rip Hamilton is running, and he was just one of those dudes that the Bulls just got just a little bit too late. Like you wish
man, they talked about getting Rip Hamilton like 3 years before they actually got him, and by then he was like a shell.
If we would have had Rip during Derrick Rose MVP season instead of having Keith Bogans at the 2. Oh man, oh my gosh. The Bulls would have won they would have beat Miami that year. But anyways, hey guys, I gotta go.
Yeah,
basketball game. We're trying to be 4-1 out of here, baby. 4-1, baby.
Izzy, before you go, real quick, my start bench cut was championship duos, and they all got something in common because they could have accomplished a lot more than what they did. So my duos are obviously Kobe and Shaq, Wade and Bron, KD and Curry. Start bench cut those duos because they all won.
Kobe, Shaq, Wade, Bron, and
KD and
Curry.
They all
KD Curry all day.
They all won, but they definitely could have accomplished a lot more than what they did.
I'm going
starting Kobe, Shaq. I'm benching KD Curry. I'm cutting.
Wow.
I don't know.
I'm gonna start Kobe and Shaq because they were so dominant. I'm gonna bench KD and Curry, and I'm actually gonna cut Wade and LeBron because I just think that's how good KD and Curry were. I think KD and Curry would have never let Miami win a championship at all. I think that Golden State Warriors team, that it was so great, and we're gonna be 40, 50 years old, and we're gonna not appreciate how great, like how perfect of a piece Kevin Durant was to the Golden State Warriors. We're all going to say it was a weak move, but he was the most perfect piece, I think, in NBA history to a championship team.
But also think about real talk, like think about yeah, you gotta go.
Hey, good luck, man. Get it, brother. Let's go.
David, think about the duos that we have seen since we started watching basketball, right? Like obviously like you were probably like old enough but still young at the same time to see Mike and Scotty.
Yeah,
But
I was like 8 when they finally broke it up.
but it's like so like we all grew up on Kobe and Shaq, right? And then you fast forward that to LeBron and Wade. And then you fast forward that to KD and Curry. Like now you look at today, you got Giannis and Dame. You had Embiid and Harden, right? You got.
Or you want to consider that a dynamic duo?
I mean, like it was like
Yeah.
just off the names alone, right? Like just off the names, right? You had Chris Paul and Book, right? Now you got KD and Book. You had Kyrie and LeBron. Like it's just like
Kyrie and Luca, man.
Kyrie and Luca. Like it's just like the duos that we have seen.
Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I mean,
Paul George, like right, like Paul George and Kawhi, like Melo and Amari Stoudemire. It's like, bro, like look at some of the duos we've seen.
You know what was crazy? So I was going through my Facebook memories yesterday, and do you know? I think it was like 14 years ago today or yesterday. Carlos Boozer made his first start as a member of the Chicago Bulls. Maybe it was 10 years. Might have been 10 years. Yeah, it might have been 14. It might have been 14. I don't know, man. But like, I was just like, man, remember how excited people were in Chicago when we got Carlos Boozer? We're like, oh, let's go, Carlos Boozer. Then, and he was pretty good for us.
He was good. He was good for us. He was good for us. It's just like in the West, he had the advantage because he was so much quicker than his counterparts in the West. And then when you put him in the East, where he was like, he was gonna give you buckets, but he was gonna give up buckets because his main counterpart was who? Chris Bosh. That was a bad matchup for him.
For sure.
6'10", long. Yeah, he was gonna give Chris Bosh some buckets, but Chris Bosh was gonna give him buckets.
I mean, Amari Stoudemire was in the East at that point too. Like, it was just Dwight Howard with Jar Lewis and the Magic there in Orlando. Like, it was just tough.
It was tough. But he gave us buckets.
But yeah, thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. This has been our Contenders and Pretenders show. We also broke down the Chicago Bulls, and we did a trifecta of GOAT Talk. I'm David Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And TJ, what do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, and it's a little warmer than what it's been. So thank you.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like almost like shorts weather outside.
It is.
Yeah.
I wore shorts to the gym, went to work, went back to the gym. Now I'm home.
Man, you have a good day, man. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
See ya, man.
Peace out, brother.